As an indie game fan who knows what the f is up, 2025 has been a good year to me. A good year to us. Rogue Prince of Persia released and was quite good. Silksong basically shadow dropped and was a literal masterpiece, and now we get Hades 2's full release. We're eating good, guys. I am a big fan of the original Hades. It's the first roguelite or roguelike, whatever the f I'm gonna be using those two terms interchangeably from here on out, that really got me to buy in on the genre concept. I, like many others, found roguelites to be fun, but inevitably very repetitive, and after like 10 hours, I would find myself itching for something new. This happened with Dead Cells, this happened with Skull the Hero Slayer, not so with Hades. The brilliant way that Supergiant revealed their story through the constant iteration, making it a narrative strength in addition to its being an inherent obstacle. The way they blessed me with so many ways to upgrade and influence on the next run, I was converted to Greek Orthodox, right? That's what this is. Greek Orthodox. So it brings me great joy to tell you all that Hades 2, it's just as good, maybe better. I'm gonna start off with my minor gripes because, like a nasty side of peas, I want to get them out of the way so that we can focus on the juicy meat. I think Melinoe is a less interesting protagonist. There, I said it. I thought Zagreus was the perfect combination of snark and heart that made him very likable. He was sarcastic, and as Hades himself would say, petulant. But he had a heart, and it was that heart that motivated his Harry Houdini obsession with breaking out. Melinoe is just too polite, I think. She's extremely respectful to every god and NPC she encounters. Her motivation is simple and it makes sense, but I just didn't find her as compelling. She's not unlikable by any means. She's just not quite the character that Zagreus was. The one other thing I'm still not quite sure about with this game is how reliant you are on magic. You have a basic attack, a special attack, a binding circle, which is your new cast, and a hex, and these make up your offensive moveset. When you hold the attack and special buttons, you imbue the attacks with magic, and in the 30 hours I've played so far, I don't think I've created a single build in which magic regeneration didn't become a make or break issue. Your magic attacks are almost always by far your most powerful abilities. You generally need magic to use your hex as well, and I'd also add that you almost always need a hex if you want to make it far in a run. So I do feel that despite the myriad builds and iterations you'll experience while playing Hades 2, you likely will not escape the allure of the boons that grant magic regen, and you likely will not escape the allure of Selene. She's the goddess that gives you your hex options, by the way. But on the other hand, I'm not sure if this reliance on magic really bothers me all that much, because I've been playing for 30 hours and I've definitely noticed it, but it hasn't frustrated me. But the one thing it certainly does is pushes me in certain directions. I'm sure there are super skilled players that will be able to circumvent this, but I'm just sort of okay at the game and I cannot. Before we get any further though, if you're liking the video, be sure to like and comment. It really does help push this bitch out to more people. But thankfully, the variety in every other aspect of the game surpasses what was in Hades 1. You liked weapon aspects? Have some more of them. You liked gods and keepsakes? Have some more of them. You liked the roguelite gauntlet through the underworld? Here. Have 2 of them. This is Hades 2, after all. I'm not gonna spoil the routes that you take in the 2 gauntlets explicitly in this review. By that I guess I mean I won't verbally tell you exactly where you're gonna be going, but I will be showing gameplay, and if you really wanna go in completely fresh, just know that I recommend this game highly, and you can click off this video and go watch one of my other videos, the Silksong video, perhaps. Yes, go watch that one now. For those of you who remain with us, intentionally ominous choice of words, Hades 2 expands the systems we all fell in love with before, and it adds all new systems that I've really been enjoying as well. The card system functions similar to Zagreus's mirror, where Melinoe can unlock permanent buffs, except here it's much more clearly based on a point system. You can't select cards that exceed the max number of unlocked aspect points, but this limit can be increased as you play and unlock the correct currency, so every juicy little card one day can be yours. I can only assume that Supergiant has access to some Venn diagram illustrating the overlap between card collectors and Hades players. And I can only further assume that there was some good overlap, and they determined that this was the most Las Vegas way to design progression for Melinoe. Hades 2 is nothing if not addicting. But hey, I don't gamble or play Magic the Gathering, and I still like this system more. The UI, it also just kicks ass. The UI across the board is so beautifully designed in this game, and I'm not talking strictly
fashion, Mr. Fox, so much as function.
Unlike Bruce, I'm of the opinion that fashion should play a role in video game menu design, and when a game like Hades 2 comes along and knocks it the f*** out of the park, I'm as happy as a clam. I mean, take a look at the title menu for f***'s sake. The music is still top-notch, the voice performances are still top-notch, and the detail in environments, animation, particle effects, stills for each deity, and just all the little ornamentation surrounding the stills for each deity, it's all elevated and improved as well. In a nutshell, the detail has seen a noticeable improvement across the board from Hades 1 to Hades 2. But how does this sequel justify itself besides being a facelift? What if they changed substantially from Hades 1 to 2 besides making everything prettier? Well, we're gonna circle back to the magic here again with that question, except this time, I get to praise it. Zagreus was fast, aggressive, and tanky, a combination that meant you could play extremely aggressively. Melinoe is not quite as fast, not quite as tanky, but she is more tricky, because she's a witch.
A witch! A witch!
I found that positioning, though it was important in Hades, was much more important in this sequel. Both Melinoe's positioning and the positioning of her binding circle, which will halt enemies in their tracks as well as perform other passive functions depending on the boons you pick up. I quite liked this change, not only because it looked cool and introduced some build variety, but it also feels different from the first game. In a similar way to Hornet feeling different from the Knight between Hollow Knight and Silksong, the change from Zagreus to Melinoe is distinct, and by itself, in my opinion, justifies the game's existence. It feels fresh. The game overall is still fast and frenetic like Hades 1, but it forces you to perhaps think fast rather than just move fast, if that makes sense. It's sort of like Doom 2016. You're still quick, but you need to be very aware of the arena because you'll get overwhelmed fast if you can't adapt and prioritize. Difficulty-wise, we like to rate based on the swear words this game pulled out of us while playing. Our scale looks a little something like this, with Buddy being the low end, motherfucker being the high end. Hades 2 will feel, at times, like a motherfucker, but it's supposed to. Perhaps more so in roguelikes than any other genre, the grind is a part of the fun, and you'll eventually find yourself breezing past bosses, enemies, and even entire areas at hour 20 that were just pissing you off at hour 5. So on the whole, I'd say Hades 2 is a bitch. It's about as hard as the first game. I will say though, Kronos, that guy, man, he's a tough boss. As for whether or not you should prioritize this game on your backlog, here's our scale we use, with fast track being our highest recommendation and take the next exit being our lowest. I'm very happy to say that Hades is a fast track. It improves in so many ways on the original while forging its own identity and thus justifies itself, at least to this gamer here. If more Hades is what you wanted, more Hades is what you're getting. I'd even say you're getting 2 Hades for the price of $2 times 10 plus 5. Still a good deal. Thanks for tuning in, and remember,
$2. Cash.